Using test to step is a really popular way to approach testing from a modular approach. For this example, I have a parent test that uses test to step, which again is found in the step builder menu at the very top. This allows you to access the entire list of tests in your project, choosing the test that you wish to use and essentially add in. So if I take this login as an example, this is a really common example. You might have a common login for an application that's used by many test scenarios. And as you can see, I didn't move my marker, so it dropped it at the end there, but I can go ahead and drag and drop that to the top. Maybe I need to log in before I can do the create, update, and delete. And now I have that test as step. Keep in mind, these are dynamic calls to execute that test during the test execution. We are not duplicating the test. We're simply creating a new reference to it to call to that latest version of that login and execute that as a subtest, which will then go directly into the next subtest, and so on and so forth. So test to step allows you to really modularize and reuse tests across your project in different ways. This modular approach is very powerful. You could also use something like a conditional logic if else scenario in combination with test to step. You might actually do have your test as steps as part of the if and the else branch there. So that's another use where you might see test to step being deployed. Very powerful, again, not copying, not duplicating anything, but actually creating more references to the same thing and reusing. And in an example like this, I can easily maybe turn off. Oops, I got my delete and my update out of order there. Let me go ahead and put that back where it needs to be. But for example, I could run this with just create and delete and turn off the update portion, or piece together larger scenarios by using these subtests, right? This approach of test to step. If you double click into any of these test to steps, you'll see that there's a complete test within that. In this case, it's a little 4-step login test here. And in the case of this create test, you can see that it's a much longer 17-step test. Now, when you get into the use of subtests, you'll often want to make sure that your subtest begins with a verification of some kind. When we put these test steps together, it does rely on the fact that they are continuing. These subtests don't have their own navigate step typically, so they're meant to continue where the test before it left off. So oftentimes it's very useful to use a verification at the very first step of your subtest to make sure it's hooking up correctly, it's in the right spot, so it can go ahead and execute what it's designed to do. And that way you get a real quick failure if the previous test hasn't set it up in the right way for this subtest to run. So those are some great ways in which you can use test as step. Also, when you are creating a test, you can always grab a set of steps by holding down Shift and clicking with your mouse, and you could even generate a test as step by doing this. So sometimes you may record a lot and then decide to kind of carve it into smaller reusable chunks, and that's what this right-click menu offers, is the create test as step from something already recorded. Or if you go to your common menu and choose test to step, you're choosing from tests that already exist in the project that you might want to bring into the current test that you're working on.